Dear Lord, that was a transcendent, all-time great, Pantheon-level performance from Nikola Jokic and the Denver Nuggets tonight. Tonight, we just got done watching Game 2 of the second round of the Western Conference playoffs between the Denver Nuggets and the Phoenix Suns. The Denver Nuggets took a 2-0 lead, and there was so much to talk about, but tonight will primarily involve discussing the greatness of Nikola Jokic and the fact that he is the best player in the NBA, and he proved that tonight. Give the man his crown, give the man his flowers. I am not a Denver Nuggets fan. I am a truth teller. I am a man that watches basketball constantly, and I call the game how I see it. And what I see when I watch the Denver Nuggets, when I watch Nikola Jokic every single game, is transcendent, is all-time great stuff, is the best player in the NBA, a man who makes the offense so easy for everyone around him, who controls the entire side of the ball on the offensive end of the court, and a man who is heavily criticized for his defense, but all playoffs, they have been fantastic on the defensive end of the court, just like I said all year that they would be. Everyone wants to look at these stats and look at things from the big picture, but they don't actually analyze what they're seeing on the court. When you analyze regular season defense, what matters is how you perform in crunch time. And all year, I continue to say that when the Denver Nuggets needed to lock in and play defense in crunch time, they were one of the best defensive teams in the entire NBA. And what have we seen in this playoffs? They have been excellent, holding a team that featured Chris Paul, who left in the third quarter, Devin Booker, DeAndre Ayton, and Kevin freaking Durant to 87 points tonight. Unbelievable performance from the Denver Nuggets to take a 2-0 lead in this series, and the team that I think is the favorites to win the NBA title as of right now. They were my pick before the playoffs started. They were my pick before the before the season even started. So let's get into tonight's game. Before we do, take a second to subscribe to the channel. We're up over 1,200 subscribers. We're grinding like crazy. This playoffs has been insane. There's been so many great performances from Steph Curry to James Harden to Jimmy Butler to Nikola Jokic, and it's been so fun covering it all. And so tonight, really just, it blew my mind how dominant Nikola Jokic looked. And here is why I was so impressed. No one else on his team had it going tonight. Jamal Murray was excellent in game one. He was unbelievable in game one. Tonight, the man was ice cold, and they needed Nikola Jokic to carry them to victory, to keep them in this game until the fourth quarter when Kentavious Caldwell Pope was hitting big shots. When Jamal Murray started to got a big shot to fall down the stretch. Michael Porter Jr. had 5 points. Jamal Murray had 10 points. And yet the Denver Nuggets found a way to win the basketball game. Nikola Jokic is the best offensive engine in the entire NBA. The way that the offense revolves around him, the only other player that I think is in this discussion is Steph Curry. Steph Curry is unbelievable, and if you're someone that thinks that Steph Curry is the best player in the NBA, I will listen to you because of what he's able to do and, you know, his playoff run last year and what he means for that Golden State Warriors team. But when we're talking about, to my eye, the most skilled big man I've ever seen, Nikola Jokic. His ability to pass, his ability to just dominate and embarrass DeAndre Ayton in the paint. When they brought Bismack Biyombo in for a couple minutes, I mean, it was horrible. Bismack Biyombo, like Nikola Jokic went at him almost every play when they had the ball. And Nikola Jokic, when he gets the ball in the post, that's what we talked about. The Nuggets were the #1 post team in the league this year. Nikola Jokic being the best post offensive player in the entire NBA. When he gets the ball at the post, he is now put with an unlimited number of options because of his passing ability. When you have great cutters like Aaron Gordon, Michael Porter Jr., who can cut or shoot, he has the ability to hit a backdoor cut, have a guy come around him, set a little screen, drive to the basket. He can score in a variety of ways with his little jump hook, his fadeaway shot that's unbelievable. It looks disgusting, but it just goes in. And Nikola Jokic is the most disrespected player in the entire NBA. Before the playoffs, I'm beyond frustrated by the way that the NBA is covered. And that's why I'm on here doing these videos all the time. Because the way that the NBA is covered, that going into the playoffs, no joke, Colin Cowherd, big names on big major sports networks, were saying that the Denver Nuggets were the 6th or 7th best team in the Western Conference. The 6th or 7th, they were the best team all regular season. We don't want to believe what our eyes are telling us. And I honestly, in my opinion, it's probably just people who don't actually watch the sport very often. But we get so enamored with the big markets and the big names. When Kevin Durant goes to Phoenix, we don't look at some of the flaws in the Phoenix Suns roster. The fact that their defense got worse. The fact that they have no depth. So that when Chris Paul went out tonight, they were in shambles in the fourth quarter. Denver only allowed 14 points in the fourth quarter, and Kevin Durant, I actually think 6 of those points were scored in like the last minute and a half, 2 minutes of absolute garbage time. This game was really tight midway through the fourth quarter, and in that time, we got to see the chemistry of the Denver Nuggets. We got to see the clutch playmaking of Jokic, the clutch shot making of Kentavious Caldwell Pope, who was unbelievable tonight, 4 of 4 from 3, had 14 points. Bruce Brown off the bench gave you 9. Christian Brown, Jeff Green off the bench doing defensive masterpieces, doing an excellent job against Kevin Durant, who many people will say is the greatest offensive player of all time. As far as getting his shot, Kevin Durant is an all-time great basketball player. They held him to 10 of 27 tonight. They made life so hard for Kevin Durant in this game, and they were throwing bodies at him. Aaron Gordon, Michael Porter Jr., Bruce Brown, Kentavious Caldwell Pope, guys doing excellent jobs on the defensive end of the court. Devin Booker played unbelievable tonight. His shot making was through the roof. He was keeping the Suns in the game. But Denver just plays basketball the right way. And that's what I'm begging people to watch and begging people to see. If you want to watch the way basketball should be played, if you want to watch a team play basketball, watch the Denver Nuggets. Watch the way that they cut. Watch the way that they run plays. Watch the way that Jokic sees the game of basketball. Jamal Murray, his clutch shot making, his mid-range tough shot making, and again, not really talking about tonight, but in game 1, Jamal Murray was unbelievable. Denver is up 2-0 in this series, and I picked them to win it before, obviously. I thought it would probably go 7. We'll see kind of what happens based on what we're seeing now, especially with Chris Paul's injury. I just don't think the Suns have the depth to really handle that kind of injury. But man, oh man, what a performance from the Denver Nuggets. They actually didn't even shoot good from the three-point line tonight. One of the things that I talked about all season was that they were the most efficient three-point shooting team in the league. So they got good shots and they hit them. And I think that that's so important. But tonight they only shot 25% from 3. They barely won the rebounding battle. They barely won the turnover battle, but they dominated in the paint. Nikola Jokic is often so criticized for defense. How does his team consistently win points in the paint? Maybe I'm missing something. Maybe I'm missing something that Nikola Jokic goes for 39, 16, and 5, and then the former number 1 overall pick DeAndre Ayton goes for 14 and 8. And you're telling me that Nikola Jokic is the worst, is a horrible defender? I don't know. I've never seen a team with a terrible center defender hold teams consistently under 100 points like the Nuggets have in this playoff run. I mean, I talked about it after round 1. The number that they did on a solid Minnesota Timberwolves team was unbelievable. They had I think a 109 defensive rating after that series, and we'll see what it updates to after this series. But I can't tell you how impressed I am with the Denver Nuggets, how impressed I am with Mike Malone, how impressed I am with every single player on this roster who played angry, who played with energy. I actually think there was a point where I saw Nikola Jokic start to show emotion, which we never see. This guy is a cold-blooded killer. I don't care what anyone says. He keeps the same emotion on his face at nearly all times, and he just eats you alive. When they needed buckets down the stretch, unbelievable. Aaron Gordon played. I thought Aaron Gordon played his butt off. I don't even know if like stat-wise it was unbelievable. Let me look it up real quick. But Aaron Gordon making big plays, had a big steal down the stretch. He had 16 points. Aaron Gordon was great. I just, wow. Unbelievable performance from the Denver Nuggets. I'm not going to take a victory lap yet because the series isn't over. And obviously there's so much basketball to go. But what I saw all year is what's being reflected so far in this playoffs, that the Denver Nuggets are the best team in basketball. And I'm not even really sure who you could argue has been a close second yet. I mean, I guess, I don't know. In the Western Conference, we'll see that on the other side of the playoffs. But unbelievable from the Nuggets. Game 3 coming up in a few nights. I believe it's Friday night. We're pumped for that. We'll see who wins. We're going to continue to cover the NBA, and we're going to continue to be realistic about what we're seeing. We're not going to hold on to narratives. We're not going to pick Joel Embiid to be the MVP because of some sort of narrative battle. We watched Nikola Jokic be the best player on the planet tonight, and I think he'll continue to prove that in the playoffs, and I hope he gets the ability to prove it on the biggest stage in the NBA Finals, because I think it'd be unbelievable to watch, and I think it'll change so many people's minds about the way that modern basketball can be played and the way that he dominates the sport without being able to jump over a crack in the sidewalk. Unbelievable performance from the Nuggets tonight. Highly concerned about the Phoenix Suns for various amounts of reasons. But appreciate y'all watching. Don't forget to subscribe. Cyborg out.